Hello.
How long has it been?
2 years.
It's been
Oh
2
my
years.
God.
Yeah, last episode was filmed right before COVID,
Pre-pandemic.
about a month before, and then COVID hit, and obviously it was a little bit difficult to get things moving again. And we've been talking about starting this up for a while
For
now.
quite some time, and no fault of Joe's, probably more fault of mine. But we're here finally.
We are here.
We're here to stay, which is the
Yes,
great news.
yes, and we have a lot of content
We do.
that's coming soon.
Yep.
So.
And and we're really excited to be back, and really excited to have some coffee.
Yeah, let's start off right here.
Like, subscribe, hit the
Exactly.
notifications. Come hang out with us, please.
And welcome back.
We like to hang out, and we like people to hang with us
Mm-hmm.
and talk guitars and equipment and gear and everything else. But aside from the obvious and the pandemic and all those terrible things, there was another terrible thing that happened in October of 2020.
Yeah.
And we lost Eddie Van Halen, who we all know from previous episodes and previous conversations that he had a huge impact on both of us and probably many of you if you play guitar,
Mhm.
whether you like Van Halen music or not.
Right.
There was some sort of influence somewhere along the line.
Edward's impact on the landscape of guitar, is monumental, and it's beyond anything anything that came before, and probably, anything that'll come after. Just again, even if you aren't a fan of the music, which most people are anyway, but if you even weren't, you can't deny, the impact he had on the way people play the instrument in the rock context,
And metal.
and even metal.
You can every
Right, and
the techniques alone. I mean,
the techniques, and then the innovations on the instrument, and then sort of, to me, his renaissance, so to speak, was the EVH brand and the gear.
and all those gifts, right? Because at the end of the day, he left us, and he left behind the music, the techniques, the gear, the heads, the pedals, the detuner, the guitars.
Oh, there's so much.
The list just
keep
goes
going,
on
right?
and on and on. And I don't know that any single rock star or musician has left that much behind. I mean, Les Paul maybe.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
right.
that's what we're talking about. We're that level, right?
Right.
And it's a shame. We're all going to miss him, his music, and all those innovations. And hopefully Wolfgang carries that on. It looks like the EVH brand is still going strong.
Yeah,
and he's
still
at the
going
helm, and probably means a lot to him on a personal
Of
level.
course.
So I'm sure we're in for more and more gear.
I would think so,
from
and I hope so.
EVH camp.
I hope
Yeah.
so, because
keep him alive.
Yeah, and everything that we've seen to date has been really exceptional. And I know that from you do a little bit of research, Ed had been very, very instrumental in the R&D for all of this gear.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to look at today is the 5150 Overdrive pedal from MXR. We're going to look at this and compare it to the head, the 50-watt 5153. Again, do a little bit of research about the pedal. It was designed with Edward to sound, or to be a clone of, the blue channel,
Which is the rhythm channel.
which is the second channel. So this is a
Right.
3-channel
Yep.
amp.
Mhm.
So you have your green, which is your clean, your blue, which is your rhythm, and then your red, which is like your over-the-top
Super
high
hot lead,
gain
yeah.
hot
Yep,
lead.
yep. Mhm.
So we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to sort of test for ourselves. Do we think it really is the same?
Yep.
I have a very high expectation that it would be.
I do
based on everything we've read about this.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to see how it feels, and then we'll start to mess with the knobs. So all of the knobs, everything, everything is at 12 o'clock, with the exception of the master volumes, which are set just to go into the DAW. From a speaker perspective, we're using the Mesa Boogie Cab Clone IR Plus here. Presence is just straight up. We're not using any EQ. We're not using any attenuation. We're using Bank B cabinet number 1, which is just a 412 Mesa Boogie cabinet. It's the studio setting with a condenser and a ribbon mic simulation. And again, this is just simulating a cabinet. There's nothing else on there. We're going into the DAW. We have a little bit of reverb on the DAW just to make it a little bit more exciting to play.
Sure.
So here is our clean sound.
One more thing. There's a resonance knob in the back,
Resonance,
which
yeah.
we turned off completely,
Yeah.
and that's just a kind of a bass presence. For lack
It's
of
like
a
a
better
low
term.
end. Yeah. It's like a very low.
I know Eddie always talked about it like that. It's the presence knob for your low end.
It is, and
Similar.
in a speaker cabinet setting, that's a critical
Sure.
EQ knob because that really defines or tightens or loosens your bottom end.
Yep.
When we sound checked this gear, we noticed that the head, if you had the resonance up at all, you felt something in the low end where you didn't have that necessarily in the pedal. So we did roll that off, and then it matched. So that's why we're running the resonance down to 0.
Yep. So right now we're in the green channel of the EVH head, which is going to have the slightest little bit of gain, and that's only because the gain's at 50% here.
Right, and that's just for volume. So we have some volume.
So,
but this is fairly clean, unless you're looking for really sparkly.
Yep. Cool. Let's kick on the pedal and see what that sounds like.
Really nice note separation.
Yeah, that's good. Sweet. All right, now let's turn that off, and we're going to kick on the...
Now you're going to hear some
buzz.
It's a tube amp.
Yep,
right?
you're going to get that.
You're going to get that. I tell you what, it feels
pretty
the same.
Similar.
It feels the same. And again, with the EQ knobs, I mean, everything's at noon on the pedal and on the amp, but there's variance in the potentiometers in both.
Yeah, of course.
So, the middle, the mids being on 12 here and mids being on 12 there are not always exact.
Listen, the fact is they are so close sounding as they are right now that there's no doubt with a little bit of EQ tweaking, you could probably make it absolutely almost indistinguishable.
So I want you to play it now.
Sure.
Switch over here.
So this is going to be
You're
EVH clean with the EVH pedal. Right. Well, it's just clean, right?
Yep.
Okay, now let's go. This is cabin. Head. So they sound very similar. This feels better.
Okay. It feels like an amp.
Feels like an amp. But there's not to say that we can't dial this in to make it feel just as good as
So
this.
let's try to do that. So let me hear this. And I hit that off.
With this. All right, so now let's play that. Well, let's play in through this channel. How's it feel?
It feels great. Let me hear the amp. There's a bottom end thing that sounds a little different. Let me hear the pedal.
Yeah, 100%.
So the pedal sounds a little bit more cold.
Maybe.
Right, a little.
Yeah.
Maybe we need a little more gain.
Yeah, maybe that's why before. Maybe a little more bass.
A little more gain on the amp, slightly more gain. Yeah.
Let me give this a shot. I want to feel the difference now. Now let's go. Now, I actually like
the pedal better.
I like the pedal better.
The pedal, there's something about it. It has a... It's a little bright right now.
Yep,
I mean,
yeah,
what if we dial this back a little bit and the mids are... More gain.
Listen, at the end of the day,
that's closer.
so
The pedal has a clarity to it that's pretty
listen,
great.
At the end of the day, I mean,
You're splitting hairs, but yeah. I
How
mean,
cool is
if you
that?
think about it, right? I mean, this is a 50-watt tube head, so there's going to be tonal characteristics that are going to be a little bit different, but the core sound is there.
Absolutely.
Right? The core sound is there. I'm hearing a little bit more separation.
Yeah.
With the pedal. I mean, maybe it's an EQ thing. That's what I mean. It got closer when we bumped the mids and the high up on here.
Yep.
Why don't you try that now? Try this. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here is that there's a global presence knob here that we haven't touched either. And that's
yeah, well, it's not
up.
affecting either, right?
It's straight up the middle.
Right.
So, but we didn't boost that past center at all.
Sure. All right, so let's try. I'm all in on the pedal.
And you know, obviously, this is south of $200. You know, again, an amp is an amp. You need to play a large venue. You need an amp. But
if you have a tube amp and you're not psyched on the,
even if you don't have a tube amp, even if you have a solid state amp.
Well, I'll tell you this: it's an overdrive pedal, and I really do think that it will work better tonally with a tube amp. Like, I feel like it still needs to push the tubes, right?
Because it's sort of emulating the preamp section of the amp, essentially, right?
Yeah. So I know that this pedal, I've seen other reviewers give it a little bit of a bum rap, that it's like staticky sounding, but I don't think they're putting it into the right environment. I think that's important.
Well, you know what it is also, I mean, sound and tone, which we've talked about in other videos, is also subjective, right? What you think is a great sound and tone, maybe somebody else thinks is garbage, right? So when I listen to this amp and I hear it as a rock machine or a metal machine that it could be used for, this pedal gets there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gets there. And from a playing perspective, to me, it's comfy. It feels really good.
It does, yeah.
The pedal feels great.
At first it didn't. At first I liked the feel of this better. And then with a slight little tweak of, I think it was the mid and the bass a little bit, and maybe a tiny little bit of gain, all of a sudden
it opened up.
Became more comfortable than that.
It opened up. And the gain is on, you know what, like 2 o'clock?
And there's a boost too, which you could even take it another notch up.
You could. I mean, we could demonstrate that now. The amp obviously doesn't have that, so it's not an apples to apples thing. But we could check that out.
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean,
it's got a gate.
It's got a gate too. I mean, the gain here is only on like 2 o'clock. So I mean, there's a lot more on tap. And now it's with the boost engaged.
Nice, yeah. It's got plenty. There's plenty of headroom in there.
And there's your gate.
Yeah, sounds great. It's good. Works awesome.
Pedal's awesome.
Love it.
Really, really cool.
I've played that pedal live in a situation in front of I think it was a JCM 900. It was fantastic.
I could vouch for that. I was there, and I was really, really impressed with your sound that night.
And that was all it was. I mean, it was nothing else.
It was the closest I've ever heard in a live scenario of somebody getting to a, Eddie's tone, that old school kind of thing. You were right in that ballpark, and with just the pedal.
It was this exact pedal.
Yeah.
So that is mine.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm all in on it.
Yeah. Listen, they're both great. They both serve sort of.
Oh, 100%. I'm not taking anything away from this.
No,
I mean, more or less,
it's a monster of an amp.
It's not a knock on this as much as a nod to this. Right?
Exactly. Perfectly put there.
So
yeah, I mean, this serves a purpose, and
it's phenomenal.
And this serves a purpose too. And in a recording scenario, this is really fantastic. If you have, sort of, they make a lot of pedal type amp platforms, right?
Yep,
where you just you throw your overdrives and distortions in front of them, and then you go straight into your DAW.
Yep.
If you have a setup like that, almost like a fly rig kind of thing, and you put one of these in front, you essentially have something like this on a pedal board, or that you can record with direct in, and it sounds pro.
Sounds awesome.
So
there you have it.
There you have it. I think this one was easy.
Yeah.
This one was easy.
They're great. They're both great.
They're both great. Get them both.
Make a wolf for your rich man.
So Craig, it was awesome to be back.
Yes.
And we're going to be back soon.
Oh yeah.
We have a whole pipeline of
we're actually
new content.
We're thinking, we're gonna take we're in the switching gear layer right now, the underground layer.
That's right.
But we are going portable, and we're gonna take it on the road, and we're gonna have some special guests.
We will.
That we're excited about, and a ton of gear to review.
Yep.
So we're excited. We hope you are as well. And like, subscribe, get notified. Make sure you hit the little bell, and every time we upload, you'll get the little indication that we've uploaded. So.
Yep. Well, we hope you dug it, and we'll be back soon.
All right.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.